Her voice is an exquisite whiskey I sip from the flask of her throat. In a perfect future tense, I caress the curves of her consonants, then slowly spread her vowels and kiss her parts of speech. But there's a hand hanging from the rim of her halo, blocking all my layups. And her eyes are second-story windows that I'm repeatedly thrown out of. Her mouth, a classy bar I'm too sauced to get served in. I dream of being a Hercules beetle, but it seems I'm just a bottle fly trapped in the amber of her eyes. Very often when I'm sitting at the poker table, people ask me where I'm from. And I tell them, I'm from houses on hillsides, rivets and bridges, and a tunnel's stunned mouth. I'm from tiny rivers spilling in the river's tray, or the spray behind the good ship Lollipop. I'm from fragrant trees lining a double-wide shady-side boulevard, a group of students earning the steep grade of Mountain Avenue, or a back alley's cobblestone truth. I'm from snow caps on city steps and rock salt crunching underfoot. I'm from ice flows in the Allegheny, mills along the Monongahela, or insolent islands in the Ohio. I'm from behind Eisen's deli counter, under the Kaufman's clock, one of 57 varieties on a green pickle pen. I'm from Falling Water and Rolling Rock. From hoagies, pierogies, and chip-chopped ham. I'm from charred on the outside, but ruddy on the inside. I'm from a fountain that billows at the confluence of dirty work, clean sweat, and hard desire. From inclined rails slanting above an abandoned warehouse and the creaking descent of a cabled car. I'm from a furnace's 20-foot flames and a cauldron's white-hot hiss. I'm from triangular towers and plate glass cathedrals, from soot-staining 42 neo-Gothic stories and smoke-stinging eyes downwind. I'm from Penn's Woods and Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. I'm from a strong arm rifling balls from the right field wall, spill jarred by a stiff tackle or a crust of blood on a busted lip. From the body of a rusted trolley car and a tugboat bullying a barge. From below a skull's hard hat and above a skeleton of girders. I'm from the bluff over the river, the gorge beneath the span, the mist off the lock and dam. I'm from a current coursing hard through the valley of the shadow of steel. All right, I'm going to bounce around a little bit, but I'm going to read a few more love poems. This is Litany for a February Day. Once, I might have dreamt of the swirling agates of your eyes, or the coal-colored corn silk of your hair, or even the velvet cushions of your lips. But as I become a more religious man, I supplicate silently for the soft halo of your hands. Not the way a kneeling nun recites a rosary for orphans in a favela, or a penitent priest invokes Our Father before his congregation, but how in mid-July a pair of blue mittens plead from the darkness of a box to be filled from the inside. I wait for your hands like gallons of butter pecan frozen behind frosted glass, wait for the mouth that will melt it. Coil for them like spaghetti for the times that will lift it onto the warm wonder of a tongue. I hunger for your right hand small in the hollow of my back, your left hand blessing the blades of my shoulders. I crave each slender finger as a smoker's lips crave 10 naked newborns. My chest prays like a front yard under a heavy sweater of leaves, crying for the sweep of a rake to lay it bare and raise small hills. My face imagines your hands as a second-story window imagines the breast of airborne blossoms. My arms tingle for your fingers the way a branch tingles under a caterpillar's feet. My legs pray for your palms as silk curtains drawn at night pray to be parted in the rising heat of morning. And what does it mean if my entire body dreams of nothing but falling asleep dotted by your fingerprints like a leopard with 1,000 glowing spots? Waiting as blank paper awaits the kiss of the calligrapher's pen, as rainy windshields await the swish of wiper blades, as every morning those cups stacked behind the counter at Starbucks become centers at a revival, waiting to be made holy by simply being held in your hands. to dedicate the next two poems to two women who have been very important in my life. The first one is my mother, and the second one is a woman by the name of Cesaria Evora, who is, or was a world-famous singer from the Cape Verde Islands. This poem is entitled My Velha, which in Portuguese means Old Mother, and it's also the title of a song by Cesaria Evora. And all the words in this poem that are in Portuguese are titles of her songs. My Velha. Tonight, a barefoot woman who knows exile's middle name is melancholy, sings of 10 brown crumbs spotting the Atlantic's azure carpet. Her voice is amber and aged, a single malt scotch, floats over our head like a chinchorati over the waves. With the ease of a girl rinsing sea salt from her hair and the rhythm of a boy kicking a ball of rolled up socks, she sings of fruto proibido known only to the night, of destino negro known only to the stars. Sings of her sons in Holland working the docks, her daughters in America waiting tables. She too tries to fill an empty heart with silver coins or golden liquor, passes the hours squinting at the horizon for a familiar sail. To the boy waiting for his father, she sings Coragem, Irmão. And to the girl waiting for her man, she offers Conselho. To a people whose only birthright is a hot, dusty wind, she's a black saint, both Morabeza and Despedida, blessing us with a voice as moist as sand after the sea's kiss. And when there is no rain, the rhythm of her notes soak the soil. When there is no grain, the syllables of her song fill our mouths. And when we awake in strange places to find even the wind whispering in a foreign tongue, her voice is a vessel returning us to those 10 rugged rocks wrinkling the aqua silk of the sea. The second poem is entitled Seascape with Vessel. Her voice calls in currents, her melody washing like incoming waves. Medleyed with a moving sun, her aria tracks the heart's arc. As all that would rise, fear what falling may follow, she is careful, sings of descent first, is cautious with what she allows to be heard in the harmony. She knows the sea and the song of salt are composed in the same key, but still chooses to bathe in what the tide utters in the interim, word by rising word. Her voice is more searchlight than song, splashes the dunes with waves of something wilder than water. Her lyrics are a people's sighs medleyed with moonlight, a geyser like whales exhaling. Since tears also shine, what saline circles she's tasted sparkle like traces of grace in the foam swirling across what beaches she walks. And we wonder what price of translation she pays as she sings in a dress that is framed and slowly utters every word by a barefoot word. I have quite a few poems, one of which I'll read in a moment, that are about my relationship, my troubled relationship with my father. And one of those kind of ironic twists, I am separated from my son's mother, and that's something that my son is not happy about. So anyway, I wrote this poem for him. I have a series of poems which are called The Blank in You, one of which, The Bukowski in You, is an article that Jeff wrote, and I'll read that a little bit later on. This poem is entitled The Al-Khwarizmi in You. And Al-Khwarizmi was an Islamic mathematician who, for many years, was credited as the inventor of algebra, although we now know that he was kind of more of a collator of algebra. And his name gave us a very famous word in English, the word algorithm. The Al-Khwarizmi in You wonders if there's an algebra for all of it. For the moon's curvature is a midnight calculus, for how the windmills behind the regatta turn their giant X's into late night Y's, for how the tide rises with an esoteric longing, even for the arc of a brand new table tennis paddle that your sweaty hand now grips, or the velocity of the balls larger than they've ever been spinning across the net between your namesake and your imagination, where he, still a baby, burps and sighs asleep in a crib, The trajectory seemingly derivative almost always of the desire. Two Greek letters on different sides of an equation, each ciphering the other, each signifying an absence by their italicized presence. Daddy, Daddy, don't you know I miss you, his sigh says. He rests his head on the hollow of your chest, asks when are you coming back? A gulf with no echoes. As he whispered to you once, his lips are an empty set now. Two brackets attempting an embrace because kisses, however long ago, count and multiply in the abacus of memory. Is there an algebra for all of it? What you've done with the days since you left? What you tried to do or might have tried had you correctly solved for all the variables? If you had a slope to graph, a slide to rule them? If the days didn't dance to their own algorithm? Is there an algebra for all of it? The floating function of the seagulls, the breaking but unbroken waves, the ghostly geometry of the phone's fathering. For how two pairs of footprints, now non-linear, can solve all the sand sifting.